Hello everyone, welcome to RockShire Gaming. My name is Eric. Today we are going to be looking at another game that has been in my collection for quite a while. It is probably one of my longest standing modern board games and is definitely a game that I would put in my top 10. Gonna go throw that out there. One of my top 10 games in my collection that we have played. That's the caveat to that, but top 10 games in my collection that have been played. This is going to be Castle Panic from Fireside Games. Now, if you look at the board here, if we're going to the top down, I know it's kind of hard with the fact that it is a top down the way it is to kind of see it. But as you can see, there's a few castle pieces on here as well as that wall there. This is basically what the game looks like post game. This was from my wife and I playing the game last night, and this is how close we got to losing. We survived with 3 different towers and 1 wall left. Let's go ahead and get this all changed up and see what everything looks like here. And there we go, right there. We have the game set up now from, if we're going to go ahead and redo everything. And I've got cards dealt for a 2-player game, since this is mostly how I play this, just because it's a game I play with my wife. Usually if we do any more than that, it's going to be with a couple other people in our group. So usually we can get a 4-player game going. But for ease of my insanity, or my sanity, whichever one it is, we went ahead and designed a 2-player game for this scenario. So you're going to pick 3 goblins, 2 orcs, and a troll, and place them in the board, 1 in each wedge zone. The game is color coded, and I do apologize for the glare coming off right here, but the game is color coded. You have the blue section, the red section, and the green section right here. Those sections are pied off to where they have 2 sections each. So there's 2 red sections, 2 green, and 2 blue sections, and then each one of them has a ring in the middle. You've got the forest ring on the outside, where most of the time that's where the monster is going to start, except for during the first turn, because the monsters don't move until the end of of each player's turn, and so the first player wouldn't be able to attack anything if all the monsters are hanging out in the forest ring. Then you have the archer ring here, the knight ring, the swordsman ring. Then you have the castle ring with Castle Bravehold, newly named, in the center of the board right there. When you're playing the game, you're going to have cards in your hand that are either going to represent archer, knight, swordsman, and there's going to be color coded to red, blue, or green. You play one of those cards, and each one of those cards does damage to a different to a creature of your choice in those rings corresponding to those colors. So that is how that works. We'll kind of get a little bit more into that and show off a little bit of combat as we go. So one of the things I would like to note about the game already at this point, went a little too farther than I wanted to mention this, but this is the first edition version of the game. This is the version of the game that I think I bought this back in 2011. So yeah, this is about 12 years old for us. The copyright on this board is 2010. I think it came out in 2009. I am aware that there is a second edition version that is out. This is a review right now of the core game. I'm not talking about Wizard's Tower, Engines of War, Dark Titan, or the new Crowns. I can't remember the other word for it though, but the new Crowns expansion that is out. But those we're not reviewing here at this time. We're just kind of going over the basic gameplay of regular Castle Panic, and there's not really any additions that I know of that were changed. I know there's a couple things that were changed with Engines of War, with how some of the monsters work, and like basically putting them on the same par as the dragon from Wizard's Tower. But as far as the base game goes, nothing was changed in the new edition except for the artwork. That new edition, though, is what you're going to be looking for. So it's not going to look like a box like this anymore. It's going to have new artwork, which looks stunning. Just at this point right now, I have this whole game plus all the original expansions, so I'm not really looking at the moment to upgrading. If I am going to upgrade, though, most likely it's going to be to that big box, just because of the fact that it's going to have all the different promo items in it. I do have some of the promo items, like the Any Colored Heroes and a couple of the towers, but overall, I don't have a reason to basically replace an older game with a newer version. It's also why I haven't updated my version of King of Tokyo yet as well. So, but that might be coming soon. It is on sale at local retailers. So yeah. Anyway, so as far as this goes, so we have dealt out cards here for a 2-player game. In a 2-player game, you're going to get 6 cards to each player. In a 3, 4, and 5-player game, you're going to get 5 cards. And finally, in a 6-player game, you're going to get 4 cards. That is going to be your card limit for all card effects that mention a hand limit, card limit, whatnot. And then at the beginning of your turn, you're going to draw up to that card limit. On turn 1, you're not going to do that because you're at your card limit already. So, but on turn 2 and onward, that's what you're going to be doing with that. That's going to be the first thing you're going to do on your turn. The second thing you're going to be able to do on your turn after you draw up to your hand limit, if you want to, is to discard a card in your hand and then be able to draw another card up. So at the moment, looking through, I somehow have 7 cards in my hand, so I'll put that one away. But at the moment, with what I have here, I have basically a green swordsman that if I didn't want to keep it, I would then discard it and then draw up a card, which is the red swordsman I had a minute ago when I accidentally gave myself too many cards. So there is that. So that's an option I can do if I wanted to. The other thing I can do next after I discard a card and draw one is then I can trade a card with another player. If we are playing in any number of players other than the 6-player mode, you're going to be able to trade 1 card with one other player. If you are playing in the 6-player mode, then you have the option then to trade 2 different cards with players on your turn. After that, you are going to play your cards. So in my little so let's go ahead and take a look in here. Yeah, I should have started with this character right here. You know what? To make the video a little bit slightly more interesting, we are going to start with this player on this side. That is on me. So these are a little bit better cards right here. Apparently all the mortar was stuck together, right? That's a fortify. It's not mortar at all. Yep, just a bunch of mortars. So things I can do on my turn here. So if I'm starting off on this player over here, I've got a few archers. And this is, again, the way that combat runs in this game. First thing I'm going to do is play one of my red archers right here. The red archer, I can take out this goblin because the goblin only has 1 health and the red archer hits for 1 damage. So he goes off to the board. And if you want to keep score, you can keep the tiles, the monster tokens, with the player that did the final blow. So that way at the end of the game, you can do have stuff in there for calculating scoring if you want to have a score of who is the best monster slayer, even though, again, this is a cooperative game. The next thing I'm going to do is play another red archer, since we're in the archer ring right now. The only other thing I have in the red archer ring is this orc. This is one of the things I do like about the game, the way that they keep track of damage. You don't have to write anything down or anything like that. You turn, basically whichever corner of the monster that you're fighting is facing the castle, you turn the tile there, and now he only has 1 hit point. And then finally, I'm going to play my other green archer, and we're going to go ahead and take care of that goblin right there. At that point, I am done with my turn as far as what I can do, and we're going to now move the monsters. Every monster moves forward into the next ring in front of it. So 1, 1, 1, 1. And that is the monster movement phase. And then finally, we are going to go into drawing new monsters. You're going to pick 2 new monsters randomly from either a pile or a bag. Like I said before, I think this came with Wizard's Tower. But we're going to take our monster bag right here and randomly go over, let's see here. So we've got the healer. This is one of those special monsters that gets drawn. So when we draw any of the monsters, we have the monster there, we roll the 6-sided die, and it's on a 6. The monster goes into the forest ring is where it starts. And in the case of the special monsters, which there are 4 of them in the base set, you're going to do whatever the special monster's ability is. In this case, the special monster does heal the other monsters on the board. So in this case, that orc that I shot earlier goes back to full health to 2. And then I am going to go for another token here. And this is another special of token. It's not a special monster, but it's a special token. So not only do you have monsters in this bag, but you also have a plethora of monster tokens, or not monster tokens, different ability tokens, I guess you can call them, that have to follow. So this doesn't go on the board, goes off to the side in a pile. This one is blue monsters move 1. So in this case, every monster that is in blue moves forward 1. There is a corresponding one for red, and there are corresponding ones for green as well. And there's more than one of those in that bag for all of you counters who are trying to calculate whatever you do. There is that. So that is basically one round of combat. If I go to my other hand here, my other player, again, not going to draw anything there, but we can go ahead and trade if I wanted to. Was there anything I would want to trade here? Yeah, I'd want to trade for this blue swordsman over here. So I don't want to discard a card and draw up there at this time because I don't want to waste something. But I will, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and trade the other player my blue knight for their blue swordsman. The reason being is because I can use the blue swordsman to either attack the goblin or go for the troll and try to wither him down as far as health goes. And then most likely, again, it's a 2-player game, the healer is going to go into the night ring, hopefully not move in any other direction before the next player turn, and then that player can then attack it in the night ring now that it has the night card. So there is that right there. And then to complete that person's turn, we are going to go ahead and play our red knight here. Puts that one down, back down to 1. Would have been dead if we didn't draw that healer. It's also going to play Fortify Wall. This is another one of those special cards that the heroes get, the players get, that allows them to do other things besides attacking. That's when you're going to take one of these Fortify tokens, place it here. It gives the wall a little bit of extra strength, so that way when that troll runs into it, he's going to take some damage and not take down my wall. Anytime that the monsters hit the outer wall, they stay where they are and they lose 1 health. The wall will go away, giving the monsters the opportunity in that area to eventually get inside into the castle walls and start wrecking through the castle towers. Once all 6 castle towers are destroyed, then the game is over. So in this example of play, I'm going to take my blue swordsman here, discard it. I'm going to go ahead and take on the goblin there. And then once again, the minions move. That one's going to move there. This one's going to move here. This one's going to move here. Our troll is going to hit the fortification that we placed on the wall. Fortification goes bye-bye, but the troll goes down to health. Like I said, the troll hits the wall goes away, the troll stays in the swordsman ring until the next turn. After that, the troll will go into the actual castle and start hitting the towers. The monsters don't bounce back once they hit the towers. They do lose a health every time they hit a tower, but they're not staying in the opposite space, meaning once they get in there, it is very hard to get them out, and you're going to have to draw, hopefully, the barbarian card in order to get him out of there, because that is the only thing that can actually kill things in the castle ring, at least in the core box. So yeah, that is going to be this review of Castle Panic, at least the first edition version of the game. Things that I do like about this game: I love the innovation of the health system on the things, as far as how they label the tiles, label the tokens, turning the tokens, being able to keep track at a glance, be able to know exactly how much health anything has in this game. The variety of the boss monsters, like the whatever, they bring a lot more to the game than just hitting orcs, trolls, and goblins. The thing I hate the most, which is also fun at the same time, is the boulders. The boulders fly through here. They will positively knock out if a boulder lands in, let's say over here. Let's go over here. Let's say if the boulder gets drawn and goes to spot 5, well, the troll is now going to be taken care of. However, it is going to stop on my wall and take down my wall. With that said, the boulder can actually, if circumstances are right, will actually fly through the entire board and not just stop at the castle, especially if it doesn't have any walls or towers to stop it. Yeah, as far as stuff I like, that system goes through. There's enough variety with the bosses that come with the base game to make it fun. Pro and con at the same time, but the anxiety level sometimes. My wife and I were just talking about this last night because it's been a little while since we played this. I think it actually has been about 6 months or so since I played this with her. It's been like probably 2 years since we played this. But one of the things she said to me last night was, I forgot how much anxiety the game gives you because you don't know what is in this bag. You can kind of guess, and if you've played it quite a few times like I have, and you can kind of look at what's been drawn, you know what's coming. But there are tokens for moving the monsters in each zone, each color zone up forward 1. There are ones that move all the monsters to the left, move all the monsters to the right. There are plague tokens that can take out your archers, your swordsmen, and your knights in your hand. So if you're getting ready to play something, like if I was getting ready to play this knight, a knight on the healer to take it out, and then all of a sudden, right before I do, a token gets drawn, takes out all my knights, you're kind of screwed in that regard. Whether or not the boulders keep coming out and keep flying through your board here. So it can be stressful a lot, and there is going to be a lot of communication, especially with more player count. There's going to be a lot of communication because with 2 players, you can kind of trade stuff off. Like if it's my go and I've got things in the archer and the swordsman ring, and I need those cards, I can trade with those cards. I know that the next person, the person I'm playing with, that the monster is going to go into the knight ring on the next one, and I just need to trade the knight cards for their archer or swordsman cards to try to go through that. With a 3 or more player game, you're literally having to look at what's on the board, and to take it out, you have to almost play like 2, 3, or even 4 moves ahead, just to try to make sure you're coordinating that trading card aspect in order to maximize your, I guess, damage output and try to make sure that you do not lose all your towers. Again, you lose all your towers, the game is over. And again, there are some things that will help you. There are brick and mortar cards, a brick card and a mortar card throughout the deck, multiple copies of it. Those allow you to rebuild your walls as you're playing through the game, so that way you can reinforce. There's also the reinforcement cards, or the fortify cards, that allow you to put reinforcements onto the walls themselves to give them a little bit of extra boost. There is a tar card that allows you to put a tar token on a monster, so that way it doesn't move this turn. There is a card in the game that basically says, I think it's called Missing, that doesn't allow any monsters to come out during your turn. Nice shot. When you play that with like a swordsman, it would take out a fully grown troll, fully powered troll in one shot with that. Push back, moves the monsters out of, I think it actually does get them out of the castle ring and back into the forest, so that way you don't have to deal with it right then and there. So there's a lot of tools in the game that are good for the players, but there's going to be a lot of bad stuff in this deck. And then when you add in those expansions, there is just a lot more crazy stuff that you can add to this game. So then with that said, as far as my RockShire review, what are we reviewing? What are we saying that this game is at the moment? This game for me is a solid 8.5 out of 10. This probably is a little bit more on the nostalgia factor. We've had this game for over a decade at this point. This is definitely, I know what I've said about other games before, but this is definitely to me a gateway game. This is a game that I have put in front of brand new players. It is easy to learn. The cards are very straightforward as to what they can and cannot do. It is very simple. You're just basically, if you know anybody that's basically played a tower defense video game, this is basically just a literal tower defense board game. Monsters are moving in. You're playing cards to take out the monsters. So like I said, this game is going to be a solid 8.5, moving into that 9 when you start throwing in some of the expansions into the game, adding in that difficulty, adding in that replayability with it. Again, this game is definitely replayable. We often played through this game. It's half the reason why this is one of the few older games I do have that is sleeved, just because we played it so much. But again, solid 8.5. One thing I will say with the second edition, I have seen the artwork for it because I was following the Kickstarter as it was going through, and I've seen it on like Amazon and other places. Since then, I will say that the artwork on the new one is going to be a step above the artwork on this one. The artwork on this game is going to be very dated at this point. There's an archer right there. Let's see. There's our swordsman right there. So, like I said, the artwork on this is going to be a little dated. So if you are going to buy a set, I would probably encourage going ahead and getting that second edition one. Again, rules are not different from first to second edition as far as the core game goes, but go ahead, look in that second edition. The artwork on that one, that is probably my main reasoning for looking at that game to get it replace this one. And just because the new artwork on the new one just looks beautiful. So that is going to be my review of Castle Panic First Edition. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. Let me know your opinions. What are some things you like on this game? What is your favorite of the monsters in this and in the expansions? Let me know when we play this game what expansions you want us to add onto this First being, we're going to play the base game first on the channel, and then we'll go into like the expansions after that. But let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments below. With that said, I have been Eric. This has been RockShire Gaming. Please like, please subscribe, please do all of those things to help grow the channel, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.